Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters, welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today we are going to make a card using the Love from Lizi September 2023 card kit, and it's called A Spot of Autumn. The card is inspired by this piece of cut apart here. We got some sheets which have cut aparts in our kit this month, and I just loved the colour palette on this piece, and so that's what inspired this card. I'm going to use some products from the kit as well as some products from my stash. So without further ado, I'm going to use the stamp set that came in the kit. I'm going to stamp up some pattern paper. You can see here, this is what I have done, and I'm going to use that stamp to do that. I've also used some of Lizi's nesting dies. These were available on Lizi's website. I'm not sure if they're still available. There are 15 dies in total. You can see I keep them on the front and back just for ease of pulling each one off. So I'll leave links to Lizi's website down below if you're interested in some of the products I've used. So I've used Lizi's dies to die cut out some ovals that I have here, and I've die cut out 2 different size ovals using this kit, and I've used another die that I have in my stash to die cut out this piece. I've also used a sentiment. I have a happy birthday or birthday happy. It just happens to be the way I put it on the cardstock. The dies I'm using are, again, they're these words and shadow dies from Love from Lizi. I'm not sure if they're available on the website, but you can use any happy birthday dies you have or oval dies that you might have in your stash. I've also taken one of my large ovals and I've embossed it. Now I have some embossing folders that we've got in previous kits, but I got this lovely embossing folder from a crafty friend called Lynn Stubbington. Lynn, if you're watching, this is my first time using this beautiful embossing folder, and I just thought this would be really nice on my card. So what I have here is 3 ovals, and they're all the same. They measure roughly 4 1/4 by about 5 1/2. So you'll want 3 of those. And then I have 2 smaller ovals from my nesting set, and these ones measure 5 1/8 by 4. So if you have nesting dies or circle dies, you can use any shape. You just want 1 big one and 1 smaller one. So it'll sit in there like so. And then this one is going to go on this piece, probably like so. And then we got some of this netting. It's like a netting ribbon, and I want to use this in my card as well. I'll probably put it behind here and then pop this over the top is what I plan to do with it, because it's very hard to know what else to use this for. You could put it, you could make a shaker card and have this on the outside of the acetate of your shaker card. If you like to do you know, layered kind of grungy look, this would be really cool, but that is what I'm using it for. I'm just going to put it as a ribbon through my card make. And then finally I have this piece. Now this piece measures 9 1/2 by 8, and I've scored it on the 9 1/2 side at 4 3/4. This is going to be the base of our card. We're going to take our ovals, we're going to put them together, and we're going to sit our ovals on like so. I'm going to put those 2 there. I'm going to put these 2 here, and then this one will go over the top here. So you have the corners here on the base. Now you could cut around them and cut them off if you want, or what you can do is you can continue my stamping and distress ink blending on them. And that's what I'm going to do. So if you want to cut them off, you can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that just there like that. And I'm going to do some ink blending on it. So I'll be able to show you what I've done here, how I've used the stamps, stamped up and, you know, coloured in, and do that. And it'll be a quicker version. So that's all my bits, I think. Let's go ahead and do some stamping on our base. Now, I only really need to do the corners there on my base. You could do the whole piece if you want. You could actually stamp onto a piece of cardstock and kind of mat and layer it. I actually like the idea of that. I think that's what I'll do. I'm going to take a piece that measures 7 3/4 by 4.5, and I'm going to ink onto that and then stick that down as a panel on here, and then add our ovals on top. See, I come here with an idea of what I want, but my card generally evolves as I'm putting it together and as I'm recording, so you'll have to bear with me. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do that next. So let me get set up and then I'll come back to you. So now I'm all ready to do my stamping and ink blending, and I just wanted to talk to you about the sheet that I put down. This is an A3 sheet of white cardstock. I printed up my little logo and stuck that on top, and then I laminated this piece. On the back of it I have some anti-slip mat, and that's just the anti-slip mat you can get in the hardware shop or any of your local shops. They generally do it. This little hard, you know, it stops things slipping around in your workshop or in your kitchen. I have it on the back of my chopping boards. So I use that on the back of this. And I also have another piece here. And I have a piece on the front. It just happens that this one was green. And then I have another piece on the back, and that's in the black. And it just means when I put this down on my desk and I take my ink, I can then pop the lid down there like that and pop my ink cube here. And when I go to do my ink blending, my this little mat doesn't really move. My ink won't move because it's kept. And then my lid, if it makes any marks, it's there, and I can just wash it off, wipe it off with a microfiber cloth. So I just wanted to share that with you. Now, talking about inks, here's all the inks that I used for my stamping and ink blending. So I have Vintage Photo, Tattered Rose, Wild Honey, Spiced Marmalade, and Stormy Sky. So that's all those. And we'll just lay them out. The next thing that I have my little brushes here, and I'll be able to use those as well. I'm going to take the stamp that we got in the kit, and I'm going to put this on a stamping block and do it that way. Now you can use you could use a stamping platform if you like, but I find the blocks are just as handy. And I have this one here. It has a little piece so you can press down, which I find really handy as well. So I'm going to pop that on there. I have my white panel, which measures 7 3/4 by 4.5, and I'm going to put some ink onto this. Now, our little panel here, you can see it has blue, and I thought the Stormy Sky was very similar to that. And then I use the Wild Honey and the Spiced Marmalade to pick up these colours, and then the Vintage Photo for the darker brown, and the Tattered Rose for the lighter colour. So I kind of think I did well in matching up the colours there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some inks, and I'm going to just add some ink around the edge. And I'm only wanting to get the corners really. I'm not inking up the whole panel, but this is what I did in order to do my ovals that I have here. this is exactly what I did to make these. I'd added a bit of my tattered rose, add a little bit of the wild honey, a little bit of the spiced marmalade, and then the stormy sky. So be careful you don't make mud, that's the only thing. So I'm just gonna stamp a little bit on here, and then stamp a little bit on here. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I want another bit of color on here, and another bit of color on there. And then I can take my microfiber cloth and give that a wipe. And then we can see how, because these will sit over here like that and over here like that. So I might just add a little bit of the blue on there onto that corner. Just add that in there. And let's have a look. Yeah, I think that'll do perfectly. So all you would do is add your colors. You could just do one color and kind of offset. I found when I was doing this panel, I used the vintage photo, the spiced marmalade, and the stormy sky. They were the three colors that I focused on using on the stamp, and then I just stamped off like that all over, kind of moved up a little bit, so I had some there, and moved down a little bit here, and then in there a little bit. Do you know, so it just, and that's what gave me the color. And then it was the ink blending on top then that actually kind of brings it all together. So let's do that now. I'll just pop my lids back on so I get them right. So the first thing I want to do is take my tattered rose, and I'm gonna put my lid down there and my tattered rose there. And I have my little brush marked, so I'm going to take that and I'm just going to blend out with this. And because I'm just doing the corners, all I need to worry about is getting a little bit in those corners. And then I'm going to move on to my wild honey next, and I'm going to kind of come in from the outside with this, kind of blending up to that tattered rose. Next, I'm then going to take my spiced marmalade, and again I'm going to tap off a little and bring that in, but I'm not going to go in as far as what I went with the wild honey. Because we're really only going to see the corners of this. I'm going to go back in there with my tattered rose. And then I'm going to finish up with my vintage photo. And this is just really going to kiss the edge. So it's very subtle, but it'll just darken that up a little bit for us. And if we had, if we were, you know, having a bigger area, then I would come in more. You can see I've all the tattered rose here. Then I went with the wild honey. The spiced marmalade is out here, and then the vintage photo is to the edge. And you can see they when they dry, they go a chalky color. They're not as deep. You can see the difference now in that they're not as deep once they dry, but they do give a lovely effect. Now with these, you can splash water on them, and you can then, you know, take a kitchen paper, piece of towel, and dry it up and get a lovely effect. But I'm not going for that look with these. I just want to leave them with their ink blending. So I'm happy now with my panel that's going to go onto my card base. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give this a wipe up, and I'm going to bring everything back in and assemble our card. So now I have my panels ready to be stuck down. I'm just having a look at how I like them there. Before we stick this one down, we need to add our piece of our ribbon onto that, and then we can stick that down, and then we can stick our panels, etc., over it. So we could have it off at a jaunty angle like that, but I'm going to kind of stick to having it through the middle. So I'm just going to use some tape. Now you can use the debossed or the embossed side. I'll probably go with the embossed side myself, and I've got some tape here that I can use to then stick this down. So I'll just pop that there and add a little bit of tape onto that. And that's that piece. And then I can add my piece through the center, pop that on there, and then I have my happy birthday sentiment that I can add onto this. It may be a little bit big. I'll see. I'll know better once I pop it out. But yeah, I think that is very cool and very unusual. And then we can embellish it. We got lots of puffy stickers in our kit. We've got some stickers on our lovely sheet that we got as well. So there's lots there to embellish that with too. So I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to stick these down, and I'm just going to glue these down to my card base, and I'm going to make sure that I keep them roughly the same. I don't want one down here and one up here. I'm going to do my best to keep them roughly the same. So I'll stick down one first. And then I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle to my happy birthday. And I'll use my sparkle pen to do that. And then all we need to do is add a sentiment to the inside. And I can do that using one of the stamps that came in the kit, or a stamp, a happy birthday sentiment stamp from my stash. And I'll do that, and I'll use my stamping platform, and you'll see that then in the pictures at the end. So I hope you have enjoyed my tutorial. using the Love from Lizi September 2023 card kit called A Spot of Autumn. If you make this card, we'd love to see your version on my Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts, as well as the Love from Lizi group on Facebook. You'll find links to the products I've used down in the description, and you'll also find links to the other design team members and their cards that they have made using this kit. The measurements that I have used are also down in the description. So if you're looking for anything, have a look down there. So that's it. Now we have a little bit of sparkle and shine on our card. I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial, and until next time folks, thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.